very, very excited at how young people can come together and decide to put this together. It's extremely important. I'll share with you two things about life, about career. Whenever you hear about career, don't think about other people's career. Think about, what do I want to do? What has God put in me? What part of life in my generation have I been called to? It's important to always, at your age, understand that God created you with a reason. You did not just get born for nothing. There is somewhere, something you are to do in this world, in your generation. And your work right now is to understand who you are and know who to learn from and to stay focused. So because your neighbor is a pilot, don't start saying, I would like to be a pilot. Because your mother is a teacher, don't just say, I want to be a teacher. But find out the following one: what is your personality? Because personality and careers go hand in hand. Find out, what do you love? Because God puts those things in us to encourage us know what we need in life and who we are in life. So I want to encourage you, one, to understand, who am I? Who am I? What did God put me together to become? What are those things that make me happy? What are those things that don't make me happy? For example, if you fear blood and you fear sick people, you may not have been called as a doctor. Regardless of whatever anybody says, you may not have been called as a doctor. You must have been called as something else. So as you start this journey, I want you to be very, very, very candid and truthful to yourself, and you learn as much as you can. The other thing that you must understand are, what are your values? Do you have any values? Or are you kama bendera, unaenda na upepo? Do you have values? Do you stand up for something? For example, if you say you're an honest person, can we count you for honesty? In class, when something has happened, can we count you for honesty? When you say you are an authentic person, are you authentic? When you say you're consistent, are you consistent? Whatever value you have, how do you acquire values? It is from your background. What is dear to your parents is passed over to yourself. So as you start this journey, I want you to think about those two things. What is my personality and what are my values? Start knowing who you are. And with that, you'll understand what God has laid ahead for you and what God has called you to become in your life for your generation. Each one of us has a place to play in this world. Nobody was created to hang around other people without something important to do. Each one of us was given a specific role to play in this world. And that is why the Bible says you will be called to account what you did with what God gave you. Therefore, even if you are 14, 15, 16, you have been called to do something in your generation. Do not waste it. You are a child today, tomorrow you'll be a grown-up. Yesterday I was a child, today I'm a grown-up. So everybody was a child. We all keep growing, becoming adults. So what do you want to become? So I want to thank Caleb so much for putting this team together. And I want to say that I wish you the very best. I want you to learn as much as you can. I hope you're having your notebook with you and you have started scribbling down. The other thing I want to share with you, kindly keep a journal. Always write what has happened today, what you're set out for tomorrow, what you did not like today, how are you going to improve it, both in your academic life and in your personal life. Always scribble down in a journal. Have a journal that will make you accountable to yourself at the end of this season. So in the 14 days that you're going to be with Caleb and you're learning all these things from very different people, don't waste it. Make sure you are learning as much as you can. Ask as many questions as you can. Because at your stage, though your mind is telling you, you know, I can tell you from where I am, you know very little. So ask and ask and ask. Learn about yourself, discover yourself, and don't get it twisted. It is a process. You are in the process. So usiharakishe. People have said this generation is a microwave generation. That once food put in the microwave and it's heated and eaten, you are not that kind. You are not there. Though they say that, say, I'm not part of that. I'm part of a group that needs to grow, to know what God has put in me, and I want to become the best for myself. And with that, I declare this workshop, this training, this beautiful journey officially launched. Thank you so much, Caleb, for having me.
Thank you so much, Madam Director.
My name is Alban Mwenda. I am the Managing Director of Great Lions Limited, which is an end-to-end HR consultancy. I believe that it is very important to search one's soul. Think of what is it that you love most. What is it that you like doing, and spend your time, and you're happy when you spend your time doing that. That then leads you to the options available within the market in terms of career.
My name is Mbugi Ngunze. As you've been told by the presenter, I am today working in different fields. 60% of my time today I spend as a business advisor in private equity and other businesses. 20% I spend on paying boards of Bamburi, the board of Safari Link, the board of a solar business called SPS, and the board of Canon Kenya. And 20% I pay for legacy, working in conservation, in education, and mentoring entrepreneurs. When I was in Form 1, Alban was in Form 6. You know, you must be ethical, because you must know your true north and know to do the right thing all the time, even when people are not looking. Number 2, just the sense of being able to work hard. Nothing good in life comes easy. You know, one must be able to put in the investment. And my encouragement to young people is that you need to just keep on making the effort, because that reward will come through. Number 3, you know, cultivate networks. And networks are not about giving you something today, but about building you and allowing you to see your different self. Peers could be people who are older than you, people who are younger than you, could be people who are right across, but in different fields. Those networks help you to learn more about things. And I think those are important things. I would say those are things that help you get to grow and mature over time. And number 5, be adventurous. Have the sense of adventure, to be able to reach out in things that you do not know or you do not understand. Sometimes you can be too conservative to a fault, but you're even scared to try new things. You are young enough, you can take risks. Today, the jobs that exist today did not exist 10, 15 years ago. All this AI stuff and all that did not exist. So you can be sure in the next 10 years, there'll be jobs that do not exist today that will be opening up in that time. So my sense about being much more adventurous is even more important.
Okay.
And taking risks.
Welcome to MxC 2022. I'm Professor Bernard Ikua of Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of Administration and Finance. I can first greet you and say konnichiwa.
Okay, konnichiwa.
Yeah, watashi wa Ikua desu. Dozo yoroshiku onegai shimasu. I have introduced myself. Once you join campus with a vision. With a vision. And the idea is not really to get a job after. It is to get knowledge in order to apply it to solve problems or to solve challenges. And if you can get that, the university really offers an opportunity. So you can get, further to graduating with a certificate, a degree certificate, you can also graduate with a company.
Okay.
So there will not be any anxiety and so on. So the importance of the campus life is to mold yourself to be useful to the society. Okay. And that way, then when you're graduating, really to be very fulfilled. Just focus and then try to see where you fit within these opportunities and work towards them.
My name is Ruth Nyakirari Nyabuto. What I do, I am the academic facilitator of the Refugee-led Research Hub. It's a research hub of the University of Oxford, the Refugee Studies Center, where I did my master's. Yes. Apart from being very passionate in academia, I'm also really passionate about research and working with people. And when you don't find me working, you'll always find me climbing rocks and exploring mountains. I studied here in Nairobi, my girls' school, Nairobi. I'm laughing because in my mind, I'm thinking you might be defining good as A+. Okay. But I'm here to debunk the myth that good can be quite varied. Okay. I actually got a B+ from my high school. Of course, if you speak to my teachers, they'll say, oh, she was an A+ material. Maybe she was just anxious. But I think that was the grade I was meant to get. And yeah, of course, Kiswahili disappointed me. I normally think if I'd go back, would it be any different? I don't know. Yeah, but I definitely agree. Good grades really helped. And listen to me redefining what good grades are. I think good grades are your best. And also what my university experience, my undergrad university experience definitely contributed to it, because as opposed to high school where it's controlled what you get to study apart from the few subjects you get to choose for yourself, in undergrad I was studying something I was passionate about, and that also brought out good performance for me. And my parting shot would be like living fully expressing yourself, living a fully expressed life. So going for things that you find quite interesting and unpacking them. We have really powerful brains. Like anything we set our minds to, we can achieve it. So go for it. Yeah.
My name is Indimu Yekahi, Chief Principal Machako School and Chairman of Kenya Secondary School Heads Association. I also double up as a member of the African Confederation of Principals, and I represent Africa as an executive member to the International Confederation of Principals. As I give you this talk, remember, never give up. And that's when I also had, don't stop because you are tired, but stop because you've achieved what you want to achieve.
Right, so my name is Geoffrey Mule. I'm the founder and CEO at Tanda, where we help businesses access money and financial services such as loans, savings. That way they can make money, save money, and grow their business. So my passion for working with small businesses started all the way from my childhood. My mom ran a small duka back in Athiriva, and I helped her and got a front row seat to why dukas are so important to not only just individuals but for the broader economy. I'm very excited to meet you guys at MxC. So I went to high school in Lukanya. Yes, where I was there since Form 1 to Form 4 all the way. This is 2010 to 2013. So I'd say our first major milestone has been rolling out this variety of products on top of where we started off of. Secondly has been the network we built and the customers we have served, because cumulatively since we rolled out, we've worked with over 30,000 businesses and who've cumulatively served over 800,000 consumers. And on top of that, today we've processed over 5 million transactions, about 300,000 a month, and growing. And on top of this, we've also locked in some very exciting partnerships. Today we work with over 40 service providers. And then finally, I'd say the growth of the team. So we started off with a team of just 3. Today our team is about 65. So I'd say, altogether, it's been a relatively interesting journey, and can't wait to see what the future holds.
Okay, that's great. Just to maybe bring things into perspective, how old are you, Geoffrey?
I am 26.
26 years old.
Although depending on what I have on, some people guess much older and much younger, but 26 is my age. So so I'd say so the advice would be try out as much as you can, even beyond your books. Experiment, fail. 1 minute you could be in a farm, and the next minute you could be reading a journalism article. So try out everything, experiment, fail, and that's how growth I guess comes. So I think my advice to my old self, I think from a financial point of view is, I think first and foremost, if there's something I wish I started sooner, was personal financial literacy, and mostly just getting versed with topics such as saving, investing, and even now new trends such as cryptocurrency. To be honest, if I bought one Bitcoin back in 2010, when they were just going for a few shillings, I'd be, I'm sure, much happier now with all the. So honestly, I wish I started sooner. I wish I started learning finance, because whether or not you get into finance as a career, all our lives across the life cycle involve some finance. So if I'm unable to manage my finances, and if I'm unable to grow them, then it's going to be difficult for you to survive anywhere you end up in life. So if you are very good at making money and you cannot save this money or find a way to grow it through investments, then you will end up at square one. And the reverse is also true. If you focus too much on saving and are not taking risks, you will end up with far limited opportunities and far less growth than someone who does. So I guess those would be my few principles. One, learn how to save. Secondly, learn how to invest. Educate yourself on how to grow your wealth. Learn about things like compound interest and how over a space of 10 years you can grow money from a very small pool to something you can even retire off of. I honestly believe your income is more important than how much you save. So spending more time thinking about how to generate more income, especially in this young age. Take risks. Don't sit on a large pool of cash and feel accomplished. At any given point, you need to be taking risks, and it's okay to lose money, because the beauty about your 20s is it's a time to experiment and learn. It's from losing money, it's from taking risks that eventually you even end up making a lot more. Then lastly, I guess my parting shot is I guess those who want to get into entrepreneurship, and maybe anyone else looking to take on a very ambitious goal in life. I guess something which a quote that keeps me going is specifically with entrepreneurship is like jumping off a plane and building your parachute on the way down. And I guess what this reminds me every now and then is that the whole path doesn't have to be clear. The future doesn't have to be certain. That even in this uncertainty, we should always take risks. We should always push ourselves into new direction, because as scary as it is, as uncomfortable as it is, that's how new opportunities are made. That's how humans grow. That's how progress is made. So don't be afraid to take that risk. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to start something. And don't wait to have everything perfect. Just start. Just jump, and you'll figure it out on the way down.
My name is Cyril Mishino. I am the founder and CEO of Chapter Global. Just to put it into perspective, Chapter is an education financing company that allows students to learn now, pay later through something called an income share agreement. So if you're a student, you've gotten into a university, or you want to do vocational training in, let's say, a coding school, but cannot afford the fees, what you can do now is through Chapter, you can learn now or pay what you can afford, get into that program, learn, and you'll pay the remainder of the fees as a percentage of your income once you graduate. The good thing about us is income share agreements are not debt. So you're not subjected to debt, because if you don't get a job thanks to that program, a percentage of your income is zero. Like when you have no income, you pay nothing as well. And that's the sort of protection you want to bring into the education financing market. We can now buy now, pay later, almost everything. But how about to do it for education? Income should not be a barrier to accessing technical education in particular. I went to Alliance for my high school studies. I got a chance to apply to African leadership when I was in Form 3. Once again, the moment you start discovering yourself, right, understanding your passion for leadership, right, and I think I had been in a leadership capacity in Form 3, probably from a house level to a good degree. Also from what I was doing on the club space, with the French music festival and drama, as well as the math club, as I've mentioned. I felt like I wanted to explore leadership to a deeper level, because I did have the passion of becoming an African leader, as they quote it. At that time, the thing that was burning in me was the entrepreneurship side of that leadership, which I had never gotten a chance to nurture. I had a whole year, just like everyone else had after high school, where naively, I and a group of friends thought it was a good idea to start an online supermarket business. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad idea. It's what Glovo does right now. At times I see people with the Glovo app in their phone and I feel like killing them, because that's what we had figured out. Yes, we were lucky we got a grant the first time we started. Another story about this is there were a group of 5 people post high school who just wanted to start a business. That's not the best way to start a business, right? That is not the best way to start a business. So we tried out something in the medical field, which was how can we just create a rule-based thing that if you put in your symptoms, we give you a medication. Very bad idea when you talk to doctors. Then we went ahead and said, because we have developers in this team, what other thing can we develop? And there was an iHub competition around that time. We went ahead and created a quick pitch deck, and you were like, guys, deliveries are very difficult, which is true. That's why Glovo has market as well. And I think we can solve it by creating something called Deliverers, whereby you can order something from a supermarket and get your deliveries like in 30 minutes. So not like Jumia, where you're waiting for 3 days. You wanted to do groceries. So you don't have unga at home, right? You don't have tomatoes at home. We want to do that automatically. We were lucky to get a grant on our first pitch. That rarely happens. I can tell you that even for businesses I've overthought. And when you give 17, 18-year-olds a grant for the first time, the first thing, even if it was small, I think it was like $5,000, the first thing they think is you think you're rich. You think this is life and the like. So it was quite fun. We decided to try out some pilots, right? So I remember we first of all wanted to approach supermarkets to partner with them. There's nothing as hard as convincing 50-year-old heads of businesses, head of chains, that you guys are going to do a logistical business well. So none of them partnered with us. We were upset, but you have to be innovative. So we went ahead and got into supermarkets and used to take photos of goods. I know we got sent out from a couple of supermarkets because we were taking photos. But we said this thing has to start regardless. We had a mobile application, we just didn't have a supermarket partnership. We took photos of goods in different supermarkets and they chased us away. We go to the next one up until we knew the prices and we had the photos, and that's what we populated in our database. Second layer was who was going to do the deliveries. right? We wanted to have some social impact in it. Not a good idea. Don't force social impact where it's not there as well. So we partnered with a children's home where when their children turned 18, right, they wanted to push them out to get jobs, but it was hard for them to get jobs. This home had bicycles, so we knew that was the thing. So we said, anyone who's 18, just come to our network, it's okay. We had no vetting process, nothing whatsoever. When you do this, expect deliveries to disappear. That's one thing for sure. You have no vetting whatsoever. People don't have the same moral standards. So it was so funny. Whenever delivery disappears, you paid the supermarket for the delivery, and you have to pay back the customer for the money that they did. So you are losing money on that front with our first pilot. Getting that pilot was already difficult. People say school is good for learning. I'd go ahead and say the most important factor you can get from school is relationships, because you can learn anywhere. So make sure you're not compromising your relationships, but also make sure you're also using that time to discover your partner, because it's one of the times where your mind is not focused on anything. You're not looking for money. You're not suffering. You're cushioned, right? Use that cushioning time. Not all people are cushioned. Some people have to worry about things at home, but you feel like you're slightly comfortable. Use that time to explore your passions, know your strength. But when you come out, you know what to try out, right? Don't be the person to just lock yourself in class as well. Try out different things, those things. Whether it's sports, right? Whether you've seen people playing chess and you don't know how it goes, you never know that you like that and you'll become an expert in it all through. But when you find your passion, try to focus. Don't do too many things. You're not Superman, because at the end of the day, you get a reward because of one spike, not because that you're all-rounded and you can swim well and you can play football well and you can play chess well as well. We don't see Martin Danford, the best Kenyan swimmer. We don't even know whether he can kick a football. So always keep that in mind as well. So use high school for relationships, exploring passions, and don't underlook your academia.
My name is Jesse Forrester. I'm the founder and CEO of MxC Mobility. MxC Mobility is an EV company, electric vehicle company based here in Nairobi. So we assemble electric motorcycles as well as distribute and build infrastructure. This is effectively charging stations and swapping stations for our motorcycle batteries. And what we've been able to do is, when someone has an electric motorcycle, instead of waiting for them to charge the motorcycle, they actually come to a swapping station and they're able to swap out their batteries for fully charged batteries. I went to high school at Strathmore School. I'm a big fan of, so that's a very interesting question. One, I think after high school, it's crazy. I never was the guy to answer this question. I was always the guy being told what to do after high school. It's strange being on the other side. But I think high school students after high school should focus on gaining real world experience. And have fun, enjoy your youth, but be very curious. Ask questions, try as much as possible to travel where you can, and learn as many skills. I'm talking about hard and soft skills. I'm a big fan of tech skills. We also need doctors, so if you're that way, please do your medicine. But I think tech is very important. It's going to shape our world, and we need people who are interested in tech to really go in. So if you are, get in, work with some societies, do some research online. Companies that take in interns and you learn from them and you work for them and you give 100%. I think one thing that I would say is you have to be all in, because adulthood hits you very quickly after high school. It's like 1 minute you're a kid, the next minute people expect things from you, and can be very shocking, like in the way people expect things from you. But I think you should have some responsibility, but get a chance to feel for yourself, because after high school is when you get to really discover who you are. Also take time to regularly do meditation. So sit down, think about an introspection, think about your life, think about who you want to be, query your belief systems, challenge them, challenge what you've been told. I think that's one of the critical things about becoming an adult, is you need to make choices for yourself, right? So take some time and do. I'm still doing that. I'm still learning that, and I think it's something, if you can build in your life, you're going to be set up really well for the future. If you want to have a base skill set that allows you to flourish. Also say read a lot about a lot of things. It sounds obvious, but you should. And that way you get a chance to know what you really like, right? Read business books, fantasy, blah, blah, blah. And adopt a mindset of opportunity, right? Your outlook on life is really determined by how you see things. And it's good to be realistic and pessimistic sometimes. But I see having an open possibility mindset really allows you to achieve so much more, because you're more open to the challenges. You know they're going to come, you accept them, and you face them head on. That's something you need to also be able to do, is face the challenges that will come head on. Don't bury your head in the sand. Stand up, look at them. They're scary. Ask for help. That's another one I'll say. I really struggle with that. Ask for help. People want to help you. If you tell me, I never used to believe it, but do ask for help.
My name is James Moria. As Caleb have shared, he's my mentee, as my friend. I've known him for some time now, and he requested that I come and share my life story with you. I was called to pursue my high school studies in another local school, secondary school, called Kiagodo Boys Secondary School. It was a county school by then. Even to date, is still I think it's a provincial school by now. One is a passion to do what I do, passion for social impact. When my services are being consumed by people, and people find value in them, and it changes their lives, that is a motivation for me. Number two is consistency. What you are doing today, you look forward to do it in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. She's looking at a 10, 20 years journey. And ideally that is a part of consistency. You don't do it today, tomorrow you abandon, and the next day you are looking for results. It doesn't happen. You have to be consistent. And what I tell upcoming entrepreneurs, the minimum plan that you should make for your business is 10 years, not 5, not 2, not 3. 5 years is short period. You need to do it for the next 10 years. For example, from today, you need to think about where your business or where your company will be in the next 10 years, 2032. Then you can be able to grow from there. Because if you look at all successful businesses, none of them has been successful in 1 year. Even the most quoted companies of the likes of Facebook and Google and Apple, if you read their stories, they are heading to 15 years now. They are not young. They are big businesses. M-Pesa is 20 years today, 19 years today. So it has to be consistent, and you need to look at the long term. I don't discount luck as a contributor to success. Being at the right time, at the right place at the right time, and luck comes with God's blessings. It is, you can't discount that. So God's blessing has to be with you. You need to be prayerful. You need to be obedient with the word, and you need to be doing good deeds. And how to do good deeds is to avoid doing harm. Your business doing harm to the people that it is serving. That, for example, the kind of products that you're producing are drugs that would cause health harms to your target market. For example, being the youth, So you need to look for a business model that brings positive social impact, not negative social impact.
Hi, how are you? My name is Julian Kula, and I want to welcome every one of you that is participating in Mentor Kenya. This is an important phase of our lives, of your life, and I'm very grateful for those that have organized this great event today. I don't know if entrepreneurs can talk about their careers. Entrepreneurship is not really a job. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been able to build a couple of companies, and I've enjoyed that. It's been a journey and a half, but God's been kind to me. There were some hard lessons. There were some failures, some successes. And I think everything that happens to you in life happens for a reason, and if you choose to learn from it and learn of it, you will be fine. I want to ask or mention to you high school students, those of you who are still in high school, how you choose your career. I don't think I'm an expert on that subject matter, to be honest. I will say this though, life is about choices. Life is about decisions, and I think your generation is having a very different work life experience from what I had. So I think there's some things that don't change about our diligence, our focus, our identity, our purpose, what it is we put our heart and mind to do. So I'm very convinced that you can build an amazing career out of these few things. Just be diligent, be very disciplined, be very focused. Make sure you understand your purpose and direction. If you grasp these truths, you should be able to survive any tide anywhere in the world. I would be wrong not to quote a scripture in the book of Lamentations chapter 3 that says, "It's good that a man bears his yoke in his youth." When you do some things when you're young, you can afford to experiment. When you get to your 30s, some level of life and trying to figure your career and direction out is what happens. Then in your 40s, you have to settle. You have to be settled. In your 50s, you need to be knowing what you're going to do after you're settling and how you're going to live after that without depending on people. And so by your 60s, you're living off of the work you've done for the last 20 years. So the only time you have space to really explore and play around is between the age you are now, maybe the next 5 or 6 years. After that, life does get a little serious. People may tell you not to take yourself too seriously, but take life seriously. You don't have to take yourself too seriously, but take life seriously.
My name is Mark Maloba. I'm an IT guy. Yeah, that's one way to put it. Let's just say I'm a well-experienced ICT practitioner. And now, the current era I'm in the world of data and analytics. Let's move on. Again, the assumption is that all of you have some interest in data work. So I'm just highlighting 3 of the main paths you could possibly take, okay? And I'll try and break some of them down. So you have your data scientists who primarily, the thing I'll tell you to focus on is this part here, make predictions, okay? They're answering key business questions, but a heavy chunk of their work is related to making predictions, okay? And you're mostly using math and statistics and some of these tech tools down here, SQL, Python, R. Does anyone have experience with coding? No? Okay. Which is fine, which is cool. And then you have your analysts who are mostly communicating the results of what they observe. So analysts are concerned with the what, okay? So like just now, if someone asked, what is the composition of your audience? I would say 75% Form 1 students. I was going to say majority, but as you start working in data, you learn not to use general terms like that. You need to be specific. So yeah, I would say 75% of this audience are in Form 1 and another 26% are in Form 2 and 3. And then, okay, so that's one example. Keep it super simple. You need to be able to break down concepts to your stakeholders or your audience, okay? And then number 3, we have data engineers who are building and optimizing systems that allow scientists and analysts to perform their work. Another way to think of this is an engineer is building the pipelines that bring in the data. So the survey that you guys just filled in, someone had to design it, make it so that, you know, I can plug in those questions and you can get your responses and they get graphed automatically. Okay. So that's the three main data career paths. I'll show you guys an example of a dashboard, just to kind of bring home what analysis typically looks like. Again, you're collecting all this information and then you have to present it visually for all your stakeholders. So for example, this is called an SLA summary. SLA just means service level agreement. So our agreement with our customers is every time, if I came to you, Tobit, you know how salespeople will just catch you in the street and it's like, oh, would you want to try our internet, da, 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 da. And you say yes. When you make a payment, within 2 days, 48 hours, without fail, in 48 hours, you're supposed to have your connection completed, installed, okay? So this was for the month of November. Outside SLA, so you see this graph here, 13% of installations were done outside of the 2 days, which means it took more than 2 days. So that's no good. We're going to start asking questions to the network planning team, for example. What's happening with the teams on the ground? Why are there delays? Do we need to ongeza more cars? Is it a transport issue?
My name is Mutai Elvis. I am a lawyer. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. My co-panelist is Mary Naiduya. I will give her a few seconds to also introduce herself.
Oh, good morning, everyone. My name is Mary Naiduya, and I'm a friend to Elvis. So he told me about this session, the mentorship program, something that I'm passionate about. So it's my pleasure being with you guys today, and I would like to know you and even share anything that I have with me. So I'm looking forward to this session.
I would use the term law to define itself. So law is the study of law. It is a pathway to your career as a lawyer. And the study of law qualifies you to be useful both to yourself, to your neighbor, and to the public. It is a discipline, and everyone who seeks out to study law is said to be a leader. So what do lawyers do? One, lawyers represent clients in court, and we are mouthpieces for our clients, really, both the general public. So over to you, Mimi.
Thank you. My name is Mimi. I'm in Alliance, and my question is about you said that when Mary was talking about becoming, when you want to become a judge, you said that you need to practice. So what exactly is the process? Like I'm not quite getting it, because you're saying you need to practice. Yes. Okay. After the during that practice, is like there's somewhere you're supposed to go and report and.
Maybe most of you want to become engineers, and right now it might be a cool term, maybe to use, but it's something entirely different once you start studying. For me, I did mechatronics engineering. I think also Professor Ikwa has done some bit of masters in mechatronics engineering, and I'm just going to use this session, I think, up to 11:30 to try and expose you to the opportunities and also the courses and different pathways which you can use as you try to explore the field of engineering. So basically, engineering is something scientific. So these people who are called engineers, we design machines, we build machines, structures, bridges, roads, name anything. Even the cups that you use, they were designed by an engineer. If at all, here Juakali, the remote, the phone you're actually using was designed and actually brought together by different types of engineers. We have the house that you're living in, of course, took some structural engineer or civil engineer to help build that. The road, kwenu, the vehicle that you use is all engineering. So engineering is basically people applying scientific principles to come up with something. And engineers have, like, you have to be creative as an engineer because, for example, just looking at super soda, yeah. When you're looking at super soda, you have to think how is the person who's going to take the soda hold the bottle, atakunyia soda from which side. Now imagine if super soda zingekuwa na hiyo kifuniko ingekuwa on the underside, yeah. If ingekuwa upside down, what if ingekuwa unaweza shika soda na mikono? So those are things that engineers think about. Look at your screen, the way you can adjust your brightness, the way ukifinya volume button inaongeza sauti. Now for you right now it's very basic. When ukifinya volume ya simu, hata remote ya TV, it just shows you that the volume is going up and suddenly the voice or the sound that's coming from your phone or device increases. But as an engineer now, you go to the backbone inside the phone. When you press the volume button in the phone, that's a button. Ni kama switch ya stima, but now it's been made small. If it kwa simu, when you press that, there's a signal that is sent to the processor of the phone. Yeah, you have to know which kind of processor to use. Hii signal inaingia kwa which. Okay, we have processors that are called ports. Inaingia kwa which port here. So if this processor itaona, okay, there is a signal coming from this side, itajua, okay, this is the signal for the volume. So what it does is it processes that signal and sends the same signal, now a different signal to a different device, which is the speaker. Na inaenda kwa speaker inaiambia iongeze sauti. What is happening is just electrical impulses. So ni kama stima tu ina travel. It's like venye naongea na sauti inasikia. It's like a processor is like a brain. So that's basically some sort of basic engineering. So those are the things engineers do, and you have to be good at math to apply to calculate such things, these equations, to factor in gravity. Yeah, when an aeroplane is taking off for ground, you have to factor in gravity so that isishindwe kuinuka. So that's one thing. Math has to be good. English and Kiswahili support your cluster points. So one language will be picked. I think your best language will be picked. That's part of the requirement. So you have to be good in both. Then that's number 2. Languages have to be perfect. Your sciences have to be perfect in regards to the type of engineering discipline you want. For example, let me see, physics and mechanical engineering, of course, that's very obvious. You can't take biology and chemistry and what you want to study mechanical engineering. It doesn't apply as much. You might want to do biomedical engineering, yeah? So make sure your bio and chem is good. All that. So it gets complex as you progress. But again, best advice I can give you, join engineering with the mind that I am going to be innovative, I'm going to solve problems. If you join up and to talk a job, they are very good jobs actually. If you get almost 600 Gs per month on a good job, you can also get 5 Gs. It doesn't 5,000 shillings. It all depends with where you land. You can even, it's not even easy to get the attachment in the first place. Attachment is some sort of work that you have to do as part of the coursework. That's in 3rd year and 4th year. It's an external attachment. So you go to a company like them and apply to work free of charge, but it's always a hassle. So the best way to do that is to is to try and think innovatively.
My name is Nikita Rachel. I'm the CEO for Photon Group, and I'd like to take you through our presentation. So, at first, we had not yet decided on our product, but we eventually agreed upon honey because honey does not expire easily. So, Photon Group has decided that we are going to try and solve the problem fluctuations in price since there is counterfeit honey in the market. Yeah, because we are going to be dealing with selling honey, and we're going to actually start locally at first because the export procedure is quite long and requires a lot of funds. So we are going to start local at first, then in the later stages, maybe when we've acquired enough profit, we're going to advance and begin exporting honey. Yeah, Jeremiah, please move.
I am Jeremiah Lemayan, P of the Photon Group. So then as the Vice President, I was given the task of putting a policy for improving a certain problem in the company. So the problem at the company was timekeeping at the workplace. The company that we are having, Photon, is going on well, but one of the key issues is time management. So then one of the ways of solving it was by implementing a policy. So then you may ask, what's a policy? It's a principle of action proposed by a company or by an individual to improve a certain aspect in the company. So then over here is a simple span usage from 2015 approximately. So then over the last few years, there has been poor usage of time, but then it is now excessive. So then now we need to find a way to implement time well, because without this, we'll keep on wasting more time than we have. So then a few of the steps to put it in progress is to consult the workers to set an agreeable policy. So then by doing this, we'll keep a policy that is fair to the workers as well as to everyone else. Then also to put up a realistic policy so that when we do it, it will actually be doable and not something that we will struggle to implement. We shall set up an enforcement team so that we may be able to do whatever we need to do so that you can punish and also see who is doing the right thing. So then ensure it is communicated to the company so that everyone knows a certain policy, and then using tools to manage the policy such as websites, cameras, and anything else. And also using our point system that adds marks for good deeds while deducts for poor deeds, so that the workers may be able to be more devoted to doing good deeds. Thank you. That is my presentation as the Vice President.
Thank you, Jeremy, for your report. I would like to take you available. The COO was supposed to talk about the location for the group, and we chose Nairobi because it is located near our buyers, and yeah, it will give us easy transportation. So we are going to be sourcing our honey from farmers in Baringo, Nandi, Ukambani. So we are the ones to package it, store it, then sell it to the potential buyers. Yeah. So the flowchart of daily operations. We source our honey from farmers, we package it, we store it, and then we wait for orders from our clients. Jeremiah, kindly move us to the next slide. So at this juncture, I welcome the CTO, who is Ivy Wanjiru, to give us the CTO report.
So logically solve challenges. Pricing, there is since there is price counterfeit in honey in the market. Marketing, a company should elaborate the strategy and process of extracting the honey from the initial stage to final stage. This will hinder the counterfeits of honey that are trying to come to our way. So number 2, a company should set some money aside for sampling honey to assure our customers that additives are not added, nor are there counterfeit. 3, by also help trusted customers who need the product where it is mostly consumed. And number 4, doing which contain of local customers will actually apply when we are exporting our honey, so that we can use our local customers to tell the people who we are exporting to that our honey is of good quality. Number 5 is so the QR codes are ideally it is a label it is attached to. So QR codes in on our honey, it will track the honey where we won't have much counterfeit as when there is no when there are no QR codes. So number 6, through registered companies trademark, it protects counterfeit and intellectual property. This ensures a company that its name cannot be used by counterfeits. So when we, as agreed, our name is Botton Honey, so this will protect our company from counterfeit, since we will protect the intellectual property. Get a good local lawyer to investigate counterfeit, so as to take such people. Number 8, open official web store, which will in store help a company not to lose customers. Update its model fast. Makes it hard for counterfeit to put information processes that are used from the beginning to get our honey, and from the manufacturers to the place porting. So this, when we do this fast, it will slow down the rate of counterfeit, trying to track our company's honey. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivy, for the CTO report. And I would like to welcome our representative, who was supposed to be Alexis.
For the CO4 report, we have calculated that it shall have 850 for transport, 5,000 to pay the farmers who are giving the bees. Shall also use 5,000 for advertising, 10,000 for company registration by the government so as to get an ID, 3,000 Kenya shillings to pay rent for storage, 2,500 to pay for the transport cost, and 5,000 to cater for the salaries of us, and 4,000 to cater for packaging. So then in a total, it ends up adding up to that 5,350, leaving us with 14,650. This 14,650 can be there in case of emergencies, or it can help us to be flexible in case of anything.
So for the marketing channels, we'll use Instagram. We'll be posting on our Instagram page, and we'll also be using Facebook. And we'll do experiential marketing, which is we'll go out in public and advertise our honey and give people samples so that when they're going to buy our products, they'll know what they're getting themselves. The next slide, please. So for our budget on Facebook and Instagram, we'll be using we'll be using the Facebook and the Instagram sponsored ads. The experiential marketing will cost quite a bit. The total we'll use for that will be 1,200. The t-shirts for the sales personnel, so when they're advertising outside, people will be able to know that they're branded. And so for the total budget, we'll need 10,800, but we'll be able to cut down on a few costs. For our sales personnel, we'll hire 2 part-time workers and pay them by what they bring in daily. And we'll use the employees as more sales personnel. We'll use employee 1, 2, and 3 so that at least we'll be able to cut down on costs and be able to work on what? Be able to save more money and to put in the business. Yes.
So we need employees in the company, and we need people who will go and get the honey from the farmers, then bring it back to us. We also need people to package it and help us with the supplying. That's basically most of the employees that we need. Yeah, so the work of the HR director was to basically coordinate with the employees that we needed in the company, and we needed people to assist us in sales and marketing. So that work was covered by the employee 1 and 2, and the accountant, someone who will help us keep track of whether the company is making profits or losses. We also need the suppliers, people who will help us in the supplying of the honey from us to our buyers. Yeah, I think that's the entire HR report.
So legal counsel report. So then there are a few legal concerns such as getting letters, applying licenses, seller's permit licenses, financial services licensing, broker license, and financial license. So and also the company registration fees is 950, and you have to register as a business name first. So then the application and reservation of name can be done at any of the Huduma centers countrywide or online using the e-platform. So in the trademark registration is a preliminary search to confirm whether the trademark exists. So in applying for the registration on form TM2 and 7 presentations of the trademark. I welcome employee 1 and employee 2 to give their reports.
So Elsie and Tobit are going to take us through. Elsie and Tobit are going to take us through the sales drive in Kibera. Yes.
Okay, then my name is Elsie and I'm an employee at Photons company. Yes. So next slide. The other one. Okay, so what's the main agenda? What I should be presenting today is the preparation for the sales drive to Kibera. So most of you may not know, but what is a sales drive? So a sales drive is an effort to sell a product or service. An example is by increasing advertising. You can advertise in different ways, and so that your company so that people can be aware of your company and the product you sell. Yes, the next slide, please. So the product you're selling is honey, as you may all know, and the price is 1,000, and the place is Kibera in Kenya. Yes. So the marketing objectives is to increase the brand awareness, to enter new international markets, to increase customer base, and to increase the sales. Yes. So what are the strategies we'll be using? The first one is to identify the buyers, considering the age bracket, the priorities, and the needs. So to begin with, most of you may be wondering, why sell honey at Kibera? I know other people may be like focusing on the problems facing Kibera, such as water supplies and other stuff like that, but we chose to actually choose a unique selling product, and yes, it will get a lot of sales. So going back to the strategies, the first strategy is to identify the buyers, considering the age bracket, priorities, and the needs. I feel like most women know the uses of honey, like some of them maybe for immunity, for pollen allergies. It can be used as a natural cough syrup. Yes. Okay, the second strategy is to offer freebies. Yes. By this, you can give out samples so that people can actually know how good your project, the things you're selling. So yes, the third strategy is to target a niche market. By this, we can choose a small grouping of companies, individuals, and advertise on how our products can be of help. Yes, this is what we'll use. So the strength our company has. Our company is known by quite a number of people in Kibera. So that will help us to sell our goods. Our weakness is that we lack adequate advertising materials. So we'll work on that. We'll try to get billboards. We'll get more posters. Yes, to issue people. Yes, and the threats, our competitors are quite ahead of us, and we are still working on that. Yes. So our advertising strategies, we've used posters, billboards, flyers, social media campaigns. You find that most teenagers are in apps such as like Instagram. They're using Instagram and stuff, and like honey can be used, let's say, for acne, to remove acne and stuff like that. So we have used social media campaigns. Yes, and then there is, next slide, please. So thank you, and I welcome any other questions. Yes.
So does that bring your presentation to an end, Nikita?
Yes, it's over.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that presentation. It was brief and straight to the point. I think for the first time I've seen a group clearly define the problem, and it was very brief and concise. I think it's good that you guys have created a really superb PowerPoint presentation. Actually, just from looking at the PowerPoint, people can understand what's going on. So that's a good job. I don't have a lot of comments because I didn't see a lot of mistakes, but I saw really good and detailed work. I think for Lemayani did a really good job. You have a really good stepwise policy implementation. You also used a graph to present that, which was amazing. The COO, I think you should have specified the location in Nairobi, where Nairobi is very big. So you should have specified if it's in Kibera, if it's in where, in Kawangware, and so on and so forth. So also I think you also considered the cost of transport to the you didn't consider the cost of transport to the locations that you are mentioning. That's Nandi, Bomet, and all that. So I don't know why locate it at Nairobi, why not locate it in Baringo and get the honey and package it and just have the cost of transporting it to Kibera. That's something to think about. Also, good work on the flowchart. I think that's the first flowchart I've seen that shows the steps and the processes. The CTO, what you're calling clips, that was, I think, in your presentation. The clips is what we call testimonials. Yeah, so don't call them clips, they're called testimonials. Again, trademark is not something that's technological, it's more legal related. Even speaking of a local lawyer, I think it's more legal related than technological. Good work thinking about the QR code. I think that's brilliant, very innovative. It's something you didn't specify about updating the model that you're using. So I don't know whether it's the revenue model, the business model, the operations model. Didn't specify that. Also, it was a bit crowded. As I said, you should have used brief points. So kindly go to the presentation for the CTO. That's Lemean. Kindly go to the presentation for the CTO. So I think you're using Canva, which is good. These are people who have been attending classes. That's why it's easier for them to present and they're doing good work. So I think you should have minimized the point. You see, like, for example, point number 8, you can just write web store and then explain to us as you present. Point number 1, you can write online marketing. That's a point. Point number 2, set money aside for sampling, and then the rest will be explaining as you proceed. So that's another thing. It was a bit crowded. Then the CFO, that was a good report. You go to the CFO report. It was very detailed. That's great. And you actually got the exact cost of things. I think for the first time, I've seen the actual cost of company registration being listed. It's 10,000. That one, it's great. It means you went and actually researched. You did just write for us a figure, but I'm sure it's more than that. But that's the rough figure. I think even Lions got it right. There's a trading license. There's also transport cost in 500. You didn't specify. So are you going to just pick the whole honey at once? Rent for storage, I don't know where you can find rent for storage. That's 3,000 in Nairobi. Advertising, it's a bit okay. I think the CMO specified that 5,000 to pay farmers. So I think you should have considered how much honey you're going to buy, how many times you're going to travel to Bomet or Nandi, or settle from one place where you can find the farmers. That's great. CMO, the CMO, kindly go to the CMO report. I think the CMO did a really good job, even with the, I think going into a sales. What do you want to study, Elsie? You can do product design. Yeah. I think you even showed us using your hands, which is great. So that's what I was talking about. I think you watched the video that was in the app. That's great. So your report was comprehensive. It's actually what something that marketing companies use. This is something on point. So go to the next slide. So I want you to observe how they are doing the budgeting. You don't have to write fast figures. Find a creative way to present it, and she's actually using the correct conversion rate for the dollars. That's 150 Kenyan shillings. That's great. Go to the next one. It's also good that you are thinking of the sales personnel. Just go to the next, so that it can be done. There's somewhere you spoke of 4 Ps. I think there's 4 Ps. 4 Ps. I don't know where 4 Ps is, but 1 P was missing, so you didn't specify the 4th P. You also did a SWOT analysis. I think you also did a SWOT analysis, but you didn't do the O. You didn't specify the O. The human resource director, I think you did a good work in thinking of the tasks that you're going to take care of. The legal, yeah, you see there's the 4th P missing. Yeah, the legal counsel did a good job identifying the 950 for registration, which is the actual fee. So while registering a business, you first do a name search, which I think costs 150, and then you do a business name registration, which costs around 800 or something. So that's great. And also you thought about where to do the reservation. That's great. Then lastly, I think it's good you thought of freebies and how they normally work, but consider the place where you're taking the freebies. I think people will come for freebies a lot. Consider the economic status of those who you're giving the freebies. It's good you also did a SWOT analysis. That was interesting. I think this marketing, this is somebody who found the perfect template and actually put it into use. Yeah? So you can't tell where they've gotten their presentation, but you can check the spellings for strategy, is misplaced. And then the report was very comprehensive. So this is the best group I've seen their presentation so far. I'm looking forward to what the rest have to present. Thank you so much, Nikita and your group. We'll move on to the next presentation.
For the best team, it goes to Photon, and it was run by Nikita Rachel. Runners up, Lions. Felix Chumo was the CEO. Congratulations. Matua Bush wanna represent. Neutron run by Hamdi Hussein. Power to women again.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This is to my fellow students. I would like to take this chance to leave you guys with a word of wisdom as we end the program. One thing that I've learned since I've joined high school is to take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way. Be outgoing and be quick to know about events that are taking place in the school. Have friends who are not going to tell you about the drama that took place in the dining hall the other day, but friends who tell you about the symposiums, workshops, or even competitions that are coming up. That is how you hear that so and so went to Dubai, or was given a scholarship, or even got a chance to meet with some of the big people out there. Remember that as you are busy wasting your opportunity there in that national school, there is someone who is willing to give his or her all. They were given a chance to be where you are right now. It is also quite saddening and unfortunate that most students are wasting their parents' money. Just sit with them one day and have a discussion. You'll now realize that life is not always a bed of roses. My parents always tell me that the greatest gift they can give to me is an education. And after hearing some people's experiences, I have also indeed understood the value of education. I know that I may not have gotten to some of you, but I would like to advise you to sit down with different people and listen to their stories. Maybe then you'll fully understand the value of education. I hope that with the little word of advice that I've given you, you'll take it into consideration as you embark on the upcoming academic year. Thank you.
I hope you guys also interacted well with the modules. You're better placed to even invest. You're better placed to solve problems that are around you. So with that brief address, I'm going to officially end this event and thank you all. Thank you all, and I wish you a good holiday. Na msome, msiwachie masomo hapo. Thank you all and have a good holiday. Goodbye.